Strauss Company is pleased to present the ceramic collection of single owner Juanita Bird for sale. The collection consists of prime pieces from the globe potteries, the studio ceramic, as well as the famous Linnware. It captures the history of studio ceramics in South Africa in the first half of the 20th century, a history pitted against the relentless advances of technological progress of mass production at such companies as the vast Continental China Factory in Boksburg during the same era. Globe Potteries, the oldest, operated from 1920 to 1957. The Ceramic Studio from 1925 to 1942, when it was taken over and became known as Linnware, operating from 1943 to 1962. The Globe Potteries, situated in New Mechelneuk, Pretoria, the site of the present-day Austin Roberts Bird Sanctuary. The owners, Albert and Joseph Walker, who lived in England. The actual running of the company was left by a succession of local managers. Well-known artists worked at the Potteries, for example, Douglas Portway in 1949 and 1950, and Isias Bosch in 1952 and 1953. The Potteries produced a range of domestic ware such as jugs, mugs, cups and saucers, jars, condiment sets, teapots and the like, as well as florists' items such as vases, bowls, baskets, troughs and the like. The glazing was restrained but with very interesting mottled effects. The wares were hand thrown on the wheel and slip casting was used for the plates and saucers. It was a small wonder that the Potteries operated for such a long period of time, given the fact that the company had no strong marketing engine behind it, and neither did it participate in exhibitions or commercial fairs. In the end, the Potteries were hampered by a lack of production innovation, especially the inattention to its downdraft kilns. One can easily identify a globe piece by looking for the impressed stamp on the bottom. The Ceramic Studio, in turn, operated between 1925 and 1942. The founders were Gladys and Marjorie Johnstone, who rented studio space from the Cullinan's company in Olifantsfontein. They mainly employed graduates from the Continental Technical College Art School, such as Joan Methley, Audrey Frank, and Thelma Newlands-Curry. Essentially a company staffed most exclusively by women. Several famous artists also worked there for periods of time, such as the sculptor Mary Steinbank and artists Erich Meyer, Alfred Palmer, W.H. Kutzer, and even J.H. Pirniev, who visited the studio often. His influence can be seen in the stand figures on some of the works. The studio produced earthenware, crockery, tiles for post offices, hospitals, schools, railway stations, and architectural items such as air bricks, fountains, and doorknobs. The process was also by hand, thrown on the wheel, slip cast and or hand built, seldom pressed molded. The studio participated in many industrial shows, agricultural shows, flower shows and ideal home exhibitions, craft shows, and even participated in the famous Empire exhibition of 1936. It also shone at art galleries, blurring the arts and crafts divide. In the end, ironically, the high ethical and aesthetic standards resulted in a non-profitable studio, and in addition, the difficulty obtaining glazes during World War II led to its closure. One can easily identify ceramic studio pieces by the handwritten signatures on the bottom or by the distinct impressed studio stamp. Linnware took over the baton from the Ceramic Studio. It operated from 1943 to roughly 1962. The founder was Sir Thomas Cullinan, and the studio was staffed by most of the ex-ceramic studio potters. Linnware is characterized by its distinctive deep green and turquoise glazes. It also used pale grey, pale yellow, mauve, rhubarb and mulberry glazes. The luminosity of Linnware can be ascribed to a double glazing technique. The studio produced crockery, florists' items, and what is known as fancy goods, such as candlestick holders, lamp bases, and ashtrays. Linnware is easily recognized by the marks painted on the bottom, spelling out Linnware or simply just LW. Impressions were also used, most notably the L above the W in a circle, or what appears to be an African hat, but was essentially the profile of a dish with a lid on it.